Hi, and welcome to the Becoming Trauma-Informed podcast, where we help you understand how your past painful experiences are affecting your current reality and how you can shift those so you can create your desired future. I'm Dr. Lee, and both myself and our team at the Institute for Trauma and Psychological Safety are excited to support you on your journey. We talk about all the things on this podcast. No topic gets left uncovered. So, extending a content warning to you before we get started. If you notice yourself getting activated while listening, invitation to take care of yourself and to pause, skip ahead a bit, or just check out another episode. Let's dive in.
Hey y'all, what's up? I thought about not doing this episode this week. I thought about not doing it on video, and then I was like, you know what, Lee, this is your face. This is your face. This gets to go up on YouTube. There's a mountain of laundry on the bed behind me. For those who are watching, I've got this nice little sign here. Sign here that says, breathe. I'm breathing. I wanted to come on this week and just talk to y'all about something that I've been going through and that I've heard a lot of people going through. And I think is going to sound like a really not kind message at first. And hopefully you hear the kindness and compassion and love and intention in it by the time I'm done. You know, I think for a lot of us, we're in this like weird, still kind of in it, still kind of coming out of it, post-pandemic weirdness, right? We went through this collective trauma and there's a lot of stuff shaken out, right? Whenever we go through a collective trauma like that and we come through the other side and we quote unquote feel safe again or safer, that's when we're actually able to process, right? When we're in the traumatic or the scary, the urgent thing, that's when we tense up. That's when we go into threat response. It's when we fight for our lives. It's when we survive, right? And now for a lot of us kind of coming back out of that, as our bodies start to like untense, there's a lot of stuff there to process. What I'm finding is that, you know, for those people who don't even know what trauma is, for those people who don't understand like what psychological trauma is, that don't get that, you know, what we all just went through is a collective trauma because it created a sense of uncertainty and danger, and we couldn't fix it or control it, right? You know, my husband, TLC, and I lost 2 of his grandparents during COVID. I lost several friends to COVID, worked through the pandemic and supported patients and colleagues through the pandemic. Just a lot, right? A lot. I've been hearing from more and more people that they're feeling uneasy, they're feeling anxious, they're feeling uncomfortable. They're not sure what's going on inside of them. They're having trouble sleeping, like they're having all of these symptoms. And I'm like, yeah, like this is post-traumatic stuff. This is when you haven't worked through some stuff. And I just want to say, I'm going to say this message and let me explain, okay? Because for me and for us, you know, my whole life, I have looked for somebody to save me. You know, when I was a kid and going through an abusive situation that I didn't know was abusive, and then having panic attacks and a lot of symptoms afterwards, you know, I always wanted somebody to come save me, right? I think as kids, a lot of times that's the fantasy, is somebody's going to come along and save you. I wanted to be rescued. You know, I wanted that Disney fairy tale, or what I thought was a Disney fairy tale. And I was actually having this conversation with a friend the other day, and I was like, you know, watching Disney movies as an adult, what I realized is so often these kids end up saving themselves, right? These kids end up saving themselves. The everybody in the story ends up, yeah, like they have support. A lot of times they end up having somebody help them, somebody who loves them and sees them and validates them, supports them along the way, and they have to save themselves. And I think that this message dropped in for me yesterday when I was thinking on like everything I've learned, and no one's coming to save me. I get to save myself. You know, it is my job to make sure I'm okay. And that might be a hard thing to hear, right? Maybe you're in a relationship where you keep hoping that this person's going to change. Maybe you're in a job where you keep hoping that like things will magically get better, or your boss will change, or your job role will change, or maybe switching positions will change. Maybe you are, playing the lottery, which I have nothing against the lottery. I like me a good dollar scratcher. I like me a good casino, little slot machine, right? Like, I'm not judging. And why are you playing, right? Like, are you hoping that somebody's going to save you, or is it just for fun? Because I think so often we look for that escape hatch. We look for that thing that's going to save us and make it all better and give us our happily ever after. And that's not a thing, And again, you might be like, well, Lee, this is the most depressing podcast you've ever recorded. There's a lot of freedom in that. There's a lot of freedom in recognizing that you are the one who gets to save yourself. And if you are somebody who doesn't trust yourself, if you are somebody who has a lot of what we refer to in the trauma world as moral injury, right? Where you don't do the things you say you're going to do, or you think you're unworthy, or you think you're not smart, or, you've been conditioned to think these things about yourself that are disempowered. And on the flip side, if you've been conditioned to think that like you never get to have any help, right? You have to do everything alone. That's not what we're saying either. TLC and I were talking last night, and I looked at him and I said, no one's coming to save me. And I actually really love that. And he's like, yeah, but I'm going to be by your side, like every step of the way, right? Like we're ride or dies. And I was like, heck yeah. Like he's my ride or die. He's coming along with me. He's there to help protect me. He's there to help me make decisions. He's there to help provide for me. He's there to be my best friend. And he's not my savior. Nobody is. No human can be that. People can offer us lifelines. People can offer us support. People can, if we feel like we're treading water, they can throw us life rafts. They can come along with a boat and, or a ladder and help us get out of there. And like, we got to grab the ladder. We got to grab the life rafts. Like we are the life preserver. We have to make that call, because I find that when we wait for people to save us, when we hope that we'll be rescued, we don't learn how to be responsible for ourselves. We don't learn how to get ourselves out of situations. And so we get rescued and then we get right back into them. And on the flip side, if we keep saving ourselves and never accepting help from anybody, right? Like if you're treading water and somebody comes along and they've got a life preserver and they're like, here, and you're like, no, I'll do it myself. And I'm going to swim, the mile to shore. Well, why? It's kind of silly, right? So it's this balance of learning to accept help and learning what help feels good for you. Learning when somebody throws your life preserver to be like, okay, but like what's attached to this? If you save me, then are you going to take me back to your castle and lock me up for 2 years? Well, then maybe I will try to swim back to shore. Are there strings attached to the saving? Or are there strings attached to the help, I should say, right? And am I willing to live with those strings once I'm safe, once I'm back on shore? Questions to really ask yourself. And if you're somebody who has never really thought about the fact that like if you're like, I don't know how to save myself, or I don't know how to accept help, I keep just like treading water, I want to extend an invitation to you to join us next week, next Monday, in our Facebook group or on our Zoom call for our 5-day community event, where we are recording our new introductory course to trauma and recovery live. It's called Adapt. And I want to teach you how to adapt. I want to teach you how to save yourself, right? And to stop getting yourself into situations where you need saving, or to stop like denying yourself help that makes it a lot easier to, not just survive, but thrive. Because you deserve that. Like we all deserve that. And it's a really hard lesson to learn, right? We're taking off those Disney princess, Disney hero goggles, and we're looking at life through the eyes of an adult, right? We're not looking at it from the kiddo perspective. We're looking at it from the adult perspective and going like, okay, I get to take responsibility here. And nobody's coming to save me, and that's okay. That's a good thing, because it means that I get to figure this out myself, and I get to figure out who is a safe source of support. And I really hope that you see us at the Institute, myself and our team, as a safe source of support, because We're really good at giving you life preservers. And we're also really good at being like, hey, you keep throwing yourself back in the deep end. And like, how's that working out for you? In a very loving way, kind way, but helping you see the places that maybe you keep getting yourself into situations where you need saved, or maybe where you keep slapping away a hand that's like trying to help you and would make things a lot easier. Like, we're really good at that. Toot my own horn here, toot our horns. We're really good at that. And we want to show you how. So I hope you join us. I hope you share this with a friend. So we're doing some really, really fun giveaways during the event. The way that it works is I'm going to go live each day, and different team members are going to join me each day. We're going to go live each day. We're going to teach a piece of the course, and then we're going to stop that recording and we're going to do Q&A live with y'all. That's bonus. And if you invite one person in and they accept your invite, and they drop your name either in the email sign up, or when they join the Facebook group, they share your name with us, you get entered in to win prizes. And they're really fun prizes, right? We don't want you like spamming your email lists or inviting people if you don't think that it's truly something that's helpful. I mean, if you want to, if you think that your audience will benefit from it, please do. And we're not asking that of you. What we're saying is, do you know one person who could benefit from learning how to stop expecting to be rescued, or stop ignoring the help that's being offered? And so prizes, we're giving away gift cards to our new merch line. This shirt will be on there. If for those of you who are on YouTube, you can see it. But for those of you who are listening to the podcast, it says safer, supportive, mutually beneficial. We've got some really cool stuff. I'm really excited to show it to y'all. So some merch gift cards. We've got free courses we're giving away. We've got gift certificates to future programs that we're giving away. And the big kahuna is a 60-minute intensive with me. So you get free coaching potentially, which is worth a good amount of money. And I think it's an awesome opportunity, if I do say so myself. And I would love to meet you and get to work with you one-on-one. So yeah, we're going to be doing some cool stuff together. So remember, no one's coming to save you. And also, like, you're the person who saves you, and you get to have help along the way from people that it feels good to accept their help, that you're not going to regret it later. I love you all. I hope you check out the Adapt event in the comments. I hope to see you live with us. If you have any questions at all, you can send us an email, and have a really great rest of your week. I'll see you next time. Bye.
Thank you so much for listening to today's episode. Invitation to head to our show notes to check out the offers and connections we mentioned, or you can just head straight over to institutefortrauma.com and hop in our email list so that you never miss any of the cool things that we're doing over at the Institute. Invitation to be well and to take care of yourself this week, and we'll see you next time.